he loved that truth and Hashem more than he loved his own life, which of course culminates in which test at the end of the parsha? The Akedah. That is the koach of Avram Avinu and of Klal Yisrael. Really to be prepared to give up everything, right? Al Kiddush Hashem. Now Kiddush Hashem doesn't mean like the Arabs to go blow themselves up indiscriminately. It means to live for Hashem, except if there is a particular case where you are making you're publicly being forced to desecrate Hashem's name. Then there's an obligation to allow oneself to be killed, but never to kill anybody else. Never. Okay. Except, of course, whatever the halacha dictates. So, yeah.
When does it come into having 70 members of the Beis?
At that 70, right. So 70 is from Moshe Rabbeinu. The concept of 70 is Shivim Zkenim. Moshe asked Hashem, and it was also a similar idea, like everybody was talking to Moshe. Yisro came and gave him other ideas, but Moshe felt that he needed Shivim Zkenim to help him adjudicate the people as spiritual leaders as well, and as guides. So the Sanhedrin of Shivim Ve'echad, or Shivim according to Yehuda, is the court for the collective judgment of Klal Yisrael. You understand? Klal Yisrael as a whole. Yeah, well, it goes like this. Doing an Ir Nidachat, which means wiping out an entire city, or a shevet, or most of a shevet, right? Which is problematic. Going to war, which is problematic. It affects the nation as a whole. You understand? The establishment, the expansion of Yerushalayim, because Yerushalayim belongs to everyone, right? So if you're going to expand the boundaries of Yerushalayim, you need everybody's. In fact, you need the Kohen, you need the Navi, you need the Melech, you need the Sanhedrin of 70, because that's a collective decision.
Yovel, declaring Yovel?
No, not at all. That's a bezdin that can even be 3. Iber Shana, Shlosha, could be 3 people. You're supposed to have 7, okay, but that's ideal. But b'diavad, if you only had 3, it's okay. You need 7 to have 7 different people.
So capital punishment, you still need only 23?
Only 23. The only people who are tried as individuals in front of the court of 70 are the Navi Sheker, and the Kohen Gadol himself. If the Kohen Gadol did something that would require a death penalty, he's judged only by the court of 70, not by the court of 23. Why? Because he embodies Klal Yisrael. He is the, how shall I say, the individual who embodies the kapara, Avodas Yom Kippurim. He's the one that keeps the connection between Hashem, between the heavenly court and the lower court. He's the only one, which is why he has to be what? Married. Why does he have to be married? Because this I heard from the Kuntris of Rav Volba on marriage, which I happen to be doing a little translating on right now. It's very interesting. He says that every Jewish family, every husband and wife, is a reflection of a bigger spiritual theme, which is that Hashem and His bride, which is Klal Yisrael and the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah is like the collective souls of the Jewish people. All the mitzvahs that we do generate Shekhinah. If we have enough Shekhinah, right, in Klal Yisrael, because we've allowed it to join us, that means we've allowed the Chassan to be part of us. Unity between husband and wife, shalom bayis, and a true love and giving relationship between husband and wife is a symbol of the big picture of Hashem uniting with Am Yisrael. So you can't have a Kohen Gadol who's trying to help Klal Yisrael make that connection if he himself doesn't have the connection. You understand? If he doesn't symbolize what is going on, he's not living it, then you got to walk the walk and talk the talk. That's why, according to the Mishnah and Yuma, they made for him a second wife. On the remote chance that maybe his wife would pass away. What is that? Ask the insurance companies. You'd get a very good policy for cheap. You got a $10 million policy. How much you have to pay? 50 cents? That she's going to die on that day? Okay? We'll give you $10 million for that. $10 million policy. It's remote. It's nothing. We can't take any chances because the whole Klal Yisrael rides on this. Avram becomes an Ada. He becomes someone who represents something much larger than himself when he has the bris milah. Why when he has the bris milah? Because at that point, how old is Yishmael? 13, and he's on his own. Yishmael is on his own. It's a bar mitzvah boy. He's on his own. What does that mean? Avram can rid himself of any of the impurities associated with the generations between Noach and Avram. Now, know one important piece of information. Avram was born in the year 1948, and he was 48 years old when the dispersion of the Dor HaFlaga. He was there. He witnessed it. Not only did he witness it, but what happens right afterwards? 4 years later, as a matter of fact, Avram begins to be Megayer Gerim. He does what Hashem tells him to do. Right? Well, what eventually he would do later, right? When he came to Eretz Yisrael, he already started in Haran. And how do we know that it was Gerus, that it was actually conversion, which would later require bris milah? Because it says Avram was Megayer es ha-nashim, and Sarah was Megayer es the nashim. That Rashi quotes for us. In ha-nefesh asher asu b'Haran, the souls that they made in Haran. Why Haran? That's where the Migdal Bavel was, in that area. And who was defeated during the Migdal Bavel? The arch enemy of Avram Avinu, Nimrod, also known as Amraphel. Why is he called Amraphel? One of the 4 kings that battled against Avraham was Amraphel. It says, Vayhi bimei Amraphel. And the other one was Chador LaOmar, which some suggest was actually Hammurabi, which shows you that they had their own system of law, that they wanted to implement human law and not, geez, does that sound familiar? Human, rational law. Right, let's not get into it. Versus the divine law. Secular law. Hammurabi, secular law. No God, only man. So therefore, his archenemy is really reprimanded and defeated with the dispersion of the door. And Avram's 48 years old, and almost immediately, he and Sarah get to work. Guess why they can get to work? Because he can't really be stopped anymore. Because the power of Amraphel, otherwise known as Nimrod, was greatly diminished. His tower was destroyed. Everybody's dispersed. Avram, it's a free country. It's kind of like Soviet Union after 1991. You get it? You get it? It's a lot more freedom. There's a lot of hefker going on, but it's still a lot more freedom. What happens after that? So Avram is 52, but then at 75, he's told he has to go to Eretz Yisrael and take with him as hanefesh asher asu b'Haran. But as we have learned, the critical turning point took place in Haran, because that began the 2,000 years of Torah. Avram teaching Torah to the world started in Chutz La'aretz with those Gerim, and it progressed as he moved into Israel, and he had to go through each of those 10 nisyonos. Right? The first one, yeah.
I'm sorry. Who was Hammurabi, did you say?
According to Yaacov Weinberg, suggested that Chador LaOmar, who was the primary fighting king. You see, Amraphel was now demoted. It was Biyamei Amraphel. It was during the days of Nimrod, but Nimrod was no longer in charge. He was part of it, an important part of it, but he was no longer in charge. He was second to Chador LaOmar. So who was Chador LaOmar? He was the one. Now, what was going on? The people of Sodom and the people of Israel said, we're after the Tower of Babel now. We're on our own. You can't control us. But they were being controlled, but then what happened? They started to rebel. Then Nimrod and Chevra reorganize and say, we want to reestablish our world empire. That was the battle that Avram fought. Do you understand what was going on over here? If you look in the Psukim, you'll see that they went out and they attacked many other people before they attacked the 5 kings. Why? Because they tried to retake the world. And who was the only one who could stop them? Avrohom. That's it. He beat them back. And what's very important about that is it helps us understand. This helps. This is the, how shall I say? We see the information on the surface. This is what you call the deeper and bigger picture. Now you really see what's going on. What was really at stake here? Everything was at stake here. They were trying to erase what Hashem had done by dispersing them. Let's regroup. Okay. Germany did it. They lost the first time around. Regroup. Do it over again. But Avram stood. He was the only person standing in the way of that happening. And afterwards, the king of Sodom comes to Avram and says, "Ten li es hanefesh v'rechush kachlak." Give me the people, and you take the money. Give me the people. That means who's king? Melech Sodom is king. He's in charge of the people. Right? Avram says, no way. You're not the king. I'm the king. I'm not going to take a penny from you. Because if I take a penny from you, Chaim says others, that means that I'm agreeing that you're the king. That you're in charge here. You're calling the shots. You're not calling any shots. You're not calling nothing. Okay? The people who fought are going to take what they took because I'm the king and I'm saying that they can take what they want. And I could take what I want too, but I'm not going to, because then people are going to misperceive it. Because Avram was fighting for Malchut Shamayim, for Bezdin Shel Mata, for Hashem Nitzov Bi'adas Keyl. He says, now we have to start, Adas Keyl starts now. Okay, and the 70 nations were before this. They were the sons of Shem, Ham, and Yafes. They are the 10 generations between Noach and Avram. That's who they are. That's who they are. And all those nations exist today in dispersion. And Hashem gave 70 sarim, 70 angels, to be in charge of each one of those countries. And they're in charge of them except for Am Yisrael. Hashem Keyl stands at the service of Am Yisrael because we are the true Shlichei Bezdin of Hashem in this world. We are the Shlichei Bezdin in this world. Okay, so now, let's go back to the question we asked about 8. Why does Avram stop at 8? So as we said, perhaps there's the new reality that Avram's contending with. He says, I know it's all about Ada. It's all about Bris. It's all about Kehila. I can't do a Kehila with less than 10 people. I can't do it. And that's what he means to say. He says, look, if the world could work in individual fashion, it would have happened already with Noach. Noach was a tzaddik. Hashem doesn't want individuals. He wants an Ada. Now, the Ramchal says, and this will be like we'll come to a conclusion shortly, and I'll say a story from Shlomo Kaba, okay, so on his yard site. He said that Hashem wants there to be an Ada, right? Not individual. So therefore, if it's not 10 people, that I can be Megayer to be Yidden and form a Kehila, there's nothing I can do. I can't save them as individuals. If they want to become Gerim, right? I'll give them a bris milah, but they have to be part of a kehila in order to be worthy of being saved, meaning they have to join the Keyl of Am Yisrael, really, what that really means. And there's not there. So he pulls up at 8. And I believe the deeper meaning of that is to show that now everything is about Ada. When 10 Jews get together, does it really matter if it's 10 Jews or 10,000 Jews or 1,000,000 Jews? According to most of the Tanaim, Rabbi Akiva, there's no difference. 10 Jews has it all. We're logged on to the root of Am Yisrael. We're connected to the Bezdin Shomala, right? You got everything you need. You're going to bring another 10 people? Great. But does it add to the Shechina? Not according to everyone. It doesn't really add. There's a machlokas among the Tanaim with Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says 10? 10 is already the Shechina. How can you add to infinity? You have infinity. Can you add anything more to infinity? So that's it. You have everything. If you have everything, you have everything. If you have the Rabbanu Shalom, what more do you need besides the Rabbanu Shalom? Okay, so there may be an Indian of Avrohom Hadras Melech. That's a different story. That is a different story. But in terms of the Koach HaShechina, it's there. That's what you're allowed to say Kaddish, and you're allowed to say Kedusha, and you're allowed to read the Torah, and you're allowed to make a wedding, and you're allowed to do all those things that require Kedusha. We have the Kedusha that we need. Okay, so now, in honor of Shlomo Carlebach, who tried to bring a lot of Jews back, he used to have like bags, like garbage bags. I'm not saying he was like a homeless person. He had a lot of garbage bags filled with business cards. And they asked him, what is this all? He says, these are the Jews that I met along the way. And I plan to give these bags to Mashiach, and he's gonna locate all these Jews and bring them back. So that's what, like, Avin, the Gemara tells us, Avram sits at the pit of Gehenna, and anybody who has a bris milah, meaning that they're part of the Eidah, he saves. Same idea. You guys got to pull them out. Now, he told a story, the following story. He said that there was one of the Tversky dynasty of the Chernobler, one of the early Chernobler Rebbes, was alive at the time of the Baal Shem Tov, and his great mitzvah that he was involved with was to make weddings that require, of course, 10. Kiddushin, Kedusha, he was into it. And he would gather money for Yisomos, and mostly Yisomos, girls who didn't have any money, and see that they had money, that people would be interested in marrying them. Unfortunately, but practical. So the Baal Shem Tov called him in and said, there's a certain town that has 10 such girls. They're orphans, they don't have any money, and you have to bring me 10,000 rubles, which was a huge fortune at that time. I need 1,000 rubles to completely equip a girl. 1,000 rubles was enough to get the dira and get all of her furniture and all her clothing and really set her up completely. I need 10,000 rubles. How much money would that be today? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. More. This is Rabbi Algo. He says, we're going to go to the big city of Brud. Brud was a big town, a lot of rich people there. So he went to Brud and he starts going around. And unlike all other occasions, he's not getting anywhere. He's not getting anything. People are turning him down right and left. And he spends 2 weeks in Brud and he has nothing to show for his collection. The Chernobyl. And he's very, very, in the Shlomo's world, angry with Hashem. And he complained to Hashem. He says, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm not doing this for myself. These are for your Yisomos, right? And you can't help me over here raise money for these poor Yisomos? So you do it. What do you want from me? You're not allowed. And he was very broken. All of a sudden, he's ready to leave town. He hears a big commotion. And he hears police cars. And they're coming in to make an arrest. And he looks closer. Who are they arresting? He says, this little Jew with a dashik. He says, we finally caught him. And he's thinking, who would you think this guy is? He looks like a tailor. We're public enemy number one. He says, he's the famous Moshe Ganav. Moshe Ganav, the most renowned Ganav in the city of Brud, which was a rich city, a lot of targets. He said, and does he look upset that he's being chained, He's happy as a lark. He's smiling, he's laughing, he's humming a niggin. So the Chernobyl says to him, what's going on? He says, don't you know I'm very famous here? Who are you? I'm Moshe Ganav. He says, everybody most famous. He says, but you're getting arrested now. Why are you happy? He goes, it's nothing. Even the best burglar gets caught once in a while. So don't pay any attention. So what do they do? It's what do you call it? Occupational hazard. So he says, well, what's going to be? They're going to throw me in jail for a couple of years. And he says, I hope that when you come out of jail, you'll stop this. And you'll do tshuva, and you'll stop being a ganef. And Moshe says, a Jew never stops. A Jew never stops. And it hit the Shenobler like a ton of bricks. Got to keep going. And it gave him new chiyus. And he says, he had new resolve, and he got going, and sure enough, he was able to bring all 10,000 rubles to the Baal Shem Tov.
Oh, you set up like in Chatzov for tonight, for the kid, Likras Kala tonight.
Oh, very good. Great. I should be the guest speaker.
That's right.
But let me give you the bottom line. The bottom line is that he comes to the Baal Shem, and he gives him the 10,000 shekel, and the Baal Shem turns to him and said, "So how does Eliyahu Navi look when he's being chained and taken away by police?" And what's the moral of that story? That in some ways we have to use even our Yetzer Hara. You know what I'm saying? To serve Hashem. When you need to collect money for a kala, you got to be like a ganav. You got to get that money at all costs, right? Not a real ganav, but like a ganav. Doesn't give up. He's davening for success. His life is hanging on the line, and that's how we have to do mitzvahs. And Eliyahu Navi always comes to remind Klal Yisrael of their greatness, because Eliyahu was critical of Klal Yisrael, right? He said, I'm a kanoi, they're nothing, they just broke the Hashem. Give up on them. And Hashem forced Eliyahu Navi to attend every single bris and every single seder to say, you'll see, don't give up on these Jews. They're not what you think. So we should all have chizuk through misgaber and whatever 10,000 rubles problems we have. And Bez Hashem, it should be a successful evening. And in the merit of Avram Avinu, in the merit of the Eda HaKadosha, and that's the final point. So the Jews are the players. We have the future of the world in our hands. It is only we who can reveal God. It is only we that can conceal God. Hence, we learn from the Meraglim the concept of Eda. What did the Meraglim do? Conceal God or reveal God? They concealed him. But on the other hand, if you have a din Torah, you're revealing, right? So, Eda is Eda is Eda. The Jews are a powerful congregation. Latov, to be Megala Hashem in the world, or Chas v'Shalom, the opposite. But it's only us. And that is the message. Okay.
As far as